In Congo, before I have a good life before the war start. I was usually buy like material like the one I wear here from my country, and then I would take for another country like Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania. It means I was doing some business. For this day, they just came and they knocked the door. It was night time. When they knocked the door, I'm the one who woke up. And when I saw the door is soldiers, I feel scared to open. Then I go inside. They knock very hard because if you don't like to open, they shoot the door. Then my husband woke up and opened the door.
They came and dragged her husband out of the hut in the middle of the night. And she said, I was so terrified, Mum. She said, I heard one shot. And she said, I knew what had happened, but she said, I was so terrified I wasn't game to open the door. When she did, got up early hours of the morning, opened the door, her husband's body was lying on the doorstep. By the time she got settled in her little unit, which is in our street, it was literally like 4 days. She hadn't eaten or drank anything because in these motels and things, they just plonk the food down in front of you. They don't explain to you, and of course they didn't know what it was. So by the time she got here, she was dehydrated, she was traumatised, she was absolutely at the wit's end, and she had these 2 little girls.
And I was very, very sick. I can't forget for that time. She helped me, she took my kids home, she fed me food, she do anything like mama she can do for a child like that. Oh, my God, God helped me, I feel better. Then I came home. She didn't stop. She just be like very, very family. She just come every time, even she can't understand the language, but she tried to force to do like to talk by hand, just like to eat or you need something like that, and I will talk by hand too. And God help us, everybody understand each other. What about this one, Mom?
Mom, you should have one of them and make them bigger.
I have got one. Yeah. How come you're a different?
Who is that?
How come you're a different colour than me?
Because I ate a lot of chocolates.
Noeline is exemplary, I would consider. Noeline is called a mom by all the refugees who come who settle in Logan and Gold Coast. They call her mom. That is because she is there for them to help them when they need help.
I don't have car, but every time she took my kid to school. When I came, because the place we came, we don't have the account number to take money to the machine. We don't know how to do it, but she was doing for me. She would go to the bank. She showed me how to take the money. She showed me how to do the shopping, how to cook the Australian food, because it's different in the food in our country. Yeah, she showed me how to clean the house.
I didn't know how to do things. She said, no, I watched you when I lived with you. I watched how you went around and dusted things and polished and cleaned. And she said, now I know how I am supposed to keep a house. And she does. She keeps a home beautiful.
Even now I say she's like my mom and they're like my family, because they help me lot of things. The one I can't count. Yeah. I take them like my family here to Australia. Yeah.
One I killed. Don't know what you don't know what you. Hey. Mua biết. Ui, camera ka. Ui random inda. Ina? Ginum. I remember there was a time that some people, they came and attacked the village where we were living. They killed many people. They took all the cattle the people were having, and they took the children, mostly the female. They took them. And they told me that in Australia, whatever do you want to start, you can. How old you are, if you're interested in education, you can finish your education as well. And I was so happy. That's why I left my country. I came to Australia where I have to get education.
We assisted him to source a bicycle and get some funding to assist to pay for it. So that was the first thing, and then since then it's just been, as the relationships developed, as issues have come up, I've helped him to get his driver's license, which took quite a period, and he had a problem with his car, and when he bought the car he got ripped off basically, and so helped him to get some justice there. With Jacob, it's been a friendship that has just developed, and as he's had difficulties, been able to connect and assist.
When we start living together in 2003 in September, by the end of 2003, on the 31st of December, I was having my older brother who was living in Kenya with his family. By then he was murdered by Kenyan, and by then I was having a lot of stress.
It's been a real journey, because about 3 months into that time was when he found his brother had been murdered, and it was very painful to watch how that affected him. It was his eldest brother, and yeah, he then felt like he had responsibility within his culture for the family that was left behind. We also, with the handle, we make sure that the handle is not in a place where it's going to be knocked by somebody's body or accidentally banged so that it tips over. So it's better to turn it away from sticking out this way. Jacob's a great man, and contributes a lot to his community, and has sacrificed an enormous amount for his family, and so for me it's given a sense of perspective. It's given a sense of strength and resiliency and hope.
I know an Iranian lady here, her parents, they grow it, and they send it here, and I saw a whole bowl.
Oh, that farmer.
Yeah.
So that's saffron.
Saffron.
The Iranian people too much using saffron.
I think it needs to be on pharmaceutical benefits. Yes, get it free to everyone. Yeah. As you get to know the people who've come through this system, you hear their stories, I'd say there isn't a family where there isn't death in the inner circle of people they lived with, people who are their relatives, So often it's a father who disappeared or brother who's never been seen again who was taken away. So every family, every refugee is touched by death.
And it is not easy if you have to run, and leave alone your loved ones. If you have to leave your husband, or you have to leave your wife, or you leave your children behind, it is a trauma. It is a trauma issue which the volunteers are going to deal with. You are dealing with people from a very frustrated life, people who have been robbed of their right to life because of persecution, people who have faced torture and trauma, people who have lived in a refugee camp.
You have to love people, and dealing with refugees, I think you have to have a fire in your belly about the injustice. You have to have an empathy and know enough. You don't have to know details of a story, but you have to know that a refugee is somebody who has suffered more than we in Australia can imagine. We just don't know what it's like. So you need an imagination. It's one of the attributes. You need a love of people, and you need time.
Was going for
holiday
to the lake.
There are many refugees who came from different countries, especially from Africa, who even can't read and write in their language, not in English. So it's very, very, very difficult for them to start a new language completely. And I found these volunteers doing a very hard job just to make such people how to catch the pain and how to write A, B, C, and so on. Until I found some of these students speaking English very well.
Something.
Yeah, why?
See?
To be coming from the flower pot.
Good. Okay. Yeah, you could just say carefully, but what do you really not have to make sure that you don't do? So you don't make sure you don't
Choke your fingers.
prick yourself. Yeah. Just getting to know the kids has been really fun. They're all really great kids, and yeah, they're all different ages, so it's really interesting. We don't really have many other kids that we have contact with, so that's really good. And their mum's really lovely. They've obviously got a really interesting background, and they've had totally different lives to what we have, so that's very interesting.
This isn't about taking them over and turning them into us either. This is not assimilation. This is about recognising who they are. And in the case of this group of refugees, they are often devout Muslims. First thing, learn something about Islam. Get rid of the myths, dig below, find out, because you're dealing with people who are very devout people.
Myself, I can tell you, I have 8 children and 8 grandchildren. So when I came here for the first time, I was like a fish out of water. No one can come to visit me. The first need I had when I came here was to know what is the society here, how people live here. Because in Africa, most of the things we have here, we don't have them. The food you eat here is not the food we eat. Our household you have here is not the household we have. And everything we have is new, even to handle the knives, plus iron, we didn't know. So we needed someone who can come and teach us, show us how to open the items like washing machines, for instance. So these are the things we didn't know. We need people who can come and show us how to live.
Are you required to give way to a bus, moving out from a bus stop in a built-up area?
Yes, you have to give away.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where the speed limit is 70 kilometres or less?
Now you told me the answer.
Yes.
giveaway sign on back. This is, no?
Yes, if the
the
bus has a
giveaway sign on the back.
Yeah.
If it's not there, what are you going to do?
Then the bus must give way to you.
Okay.
Please, please, volunteers must be people who can suspend their own judgment, and the most outstanding thing, I think, is the hospitality, the generosity of people who have next to nothing and who'll share everything with you.
This is the curry leaf. Yeah. In our country we say carapincha.
Carapincha.
Yeah. And this smell, see the smell?
Yes.
You know? See. It's really good smell.
A stranger is a friend you don't know yet. And Indrani has so much to share. I have a little bit to give, like, you know, helping her with her driving license. And Indrani's so willing to share with her cooking and stuff. It's just great. Yeah. So, I mean, I gained something too.
Yeah, she's given a good support for me to learn my lessons. Otherwise, I want to get through with my driving. That is my, At the same time, she likes to have our country food and all, so curries and all. So I'm talking with her those things, and we are sharing, isn't it?
She's a good learner. She's so keen, and you know, it's not difficult to teach somebody who really wants to learn.
With Abu, who's the youngest, he's obviously just shows really obvious progress, and it's not just us, obviously. I mean, none of the progress that we see this we can take real credit for, but I think that we do feel like we're a small part of what's helping them.
It reinforces the values that you have. And if you put human rights and love of people and fairness at the heart of your core values, this work is really satisfying. It intensifies who you are and what you stand for.
It's incredibly rewarding. The experience of different cultures is broadening. I think what I've found wonderful to experience is the collective culture. The Africans, just feel very comfortable with visiting and spending time with each other and supporting one another. And so for me, it's been an insight into that and into a sense of community, which is present but rarer in Australian community.
I always tell everybody I give 100%, but I get 300% back, because they're here for me when I need them to, Like I was telling you, when I was sick just recently, I was out of action for about 3 months. My house was like Central Station. People were coming and going, and they were all the refugees coming here, and they're bringing food and coming to visit,
Now, just now, I can have a deep breath of freedom's air. Now, just now, I can sleep without nightmares. Now, just now, I can move without mountains of fear on my chest. Now, just now, I can feel afraid. Now, just now, I can feel safe. Now, just now, I can say ages of fright have gone. For ages, I haven't slept like now. For ages, I haven't smiled as now. For ages, I haven't said my name since I have lost it. I never believed in a second homeland. However, I have a second one now, just now.